All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. As expected, it has turned a lot colder across the area today. Even though we got a lot of sunshine out there, it's pretty deceiving because it is very cold. We got those strong winds. Temperatures are only in the 30s in most areas now, maybe near 40. And those wind chills have been in the teens and low 20s throughout much of the day. So even though it is sunny outside today, it is very deceiving. It is very cold across the ArkLaTex today. But I wanted to do this quick little Facebook Live here and talking about this winter storm. We've been talking about this now for about a week. And as if you've been following along, you've seen that the forecast models are kind of going back and forth on this. But now they are in really good agreement that this system is actually going to miss us to the south. So if you were hoping for snow, not good news. If you were not hoping for much snow, if you were hoping for very little impact out of this, it is good news for you. But I know a lot of you were maybe hoping for a little bit of snow in the Shreveport-Bossier metros and along the I-20 corridor. But at this time, that is not looking very likely. In fact, the latest forecast models, the latest trends are farther and farther south. Every time we get a new model run in, it is pushing this thing a little bit further south than the prior run. And so the trend is south. And as that continues, that decreases our overall impacts for the ArkLaTex. So let me kind of zoom into a few graphics here. Let's talk about what's going on with the European model. This is one of our more reliable forecast models. And this is the very, very latest forecast run that came in from today. And let me rewind that just a bit. Let's see here. So again, this is where we are right now. Not much going on here. So as we head into the day tomorrow, still looking like a pretty quiet day. It's going to be another cold day, though. Highs will only be into the 30s. And you can see that area of low pressure developing, but it's pretty far to the south. This is moving. The area of low pressure is developing much farther south than it looked like it might a couple of days ago. And as a result, all that nasty winter weather is now being pushed south of the ArkLaTex. Now, we'll still get some snow, I think. I still think we'll get a little bit of snow, late Monday night, early Tuesday morning. It'll be just some flying flurries. You'll see some flakes probably flying around if you're up early on early Tuesday morning. You'll see some flurries, some flakes flying around. But I really don't anticipate this to cause any major travel issues along the I-20 corridor. Having said that, it is going to be very, very cold. The road surfaces are going to be cold. And so even if we get just a little bit of a dusting, just a slight dusting or a little coating, that could still create some slippery conditions on some of the bridges and overpasses and some of the less traveled roads. So still use caution late Monday night into Tuesday morning, but overall impacts will be relatively minor. This is Tuesday at 6 a.m. According to the European model, you can see the brunt of that snow is actually going to be along the Gulf Coast. As we head towards midday, we're talking, places like New Orleans. Man, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, record-breaking historic snowstorm looking likely. This could be the biggest snowstorm that New Orleans has had since 1895. Yeah, so this is going to be pretty incredible to see for folks down there. But we could see heavy snow in New Orleans by noon on Tuesday, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. Those are the areas that really could get hammered by this, and then it moves out pretty quickly. So again, that's the European forecast model. Let's take a look at what it is showing for snowfall amounts. And again, as you'll see here, this is really pretty far south. So, if you're down around Natchitoches, if you're down in, say, Manny, southeastern parishes of the ArkLaTex, you could still get about a 1 to 2 inch snowfall out of this. But it is really looking like a pretty minor event for most of us. And if you're up along I-20, just some flurries. We might get a dusting. We might get a little coating of snow if you're lucky, but it's not going to be much. But look at this, down to the south. I mean, we're talking this is going to be a crippling storm for Houston. It's going to shut the city down for sure. We're talking, a half a foot of snow possibly in Houston, Lafayette. Big snow for you, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. Could see, at least according to this, 4 inches of snow. So that will be pretty amazing, especially for them. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to kind of hop on here. I'll try to answer some. I don't see too many people on here just yet. But again, that's the European model. That's what it is showing. And then we'll take a look at the American model, the GFS, and see what those trends are. So let's take a look at our all right, let's take a look at the trends of the GFS. And let's see here. So we'll move through today. Not much going on. We get you into Monday. And sorry, you can hear my dog chowing down probably in the audio. He's eating his food. And this is This is late Monday evening. So you can see that system starts to develop in the Gulf, but it is pretty far south. So that's what I said. I mean, this is really a lot further south than it was looking, a couple of days ago. So this brings all that winter weather right along the Gulf Coast, even San Antonio. Again, this is the American model, very similar to the European. You can see that mix right along the coast, but heavy snow possible for Houston. And then that heavy snow moves into southern Louisiana as we get into midday on Tuesday. New Orleans, man, I really think New Orleans could see a historic storm out of this. Kind of wish I was down there actually to see it. There's noon on Tuesday. New Orleans getting hammered. Mobile, Alabama. Even places like Cameron there, right along the coast in southwest Louisiana. And then it continues as we head throughout the day, moving out by Tuesday night. So let's take a look at what this model is showing as far as snowfall amounts. And let's see here. Sorry, I'm just laughing because my dog is eating extremely loud next to me. So again, look at the snowfall amounts here in southeastern Texas. Man, that is going to be a big one. Again, this is two models now that are showing over 6 inches of snow in Houston. That is going to be a record-breaking storm potentially for them. There's that snowfall in southwest Louisiana up to 5 to 8 inches, it looks like down there. And again, New Orleans could get hammered as well. But you can see how far south this is. Just pretty much misses the ArkLaTex. So I know some of you were hoping for some snow. I just really wouldn't get your hopes up on this one. It is not looking too promising. I mean, we're still 24 hours out. Models can still trend the other direction. But at this point, I'm thinking we're probably going to miss most of this. It's pretty solid. The models are in pretty good agreement now that this thing is going to miss us. So let's take a look at the Canadian model. Why not? Just kind of looking at a bunch of different things here. This is the snowfall forecast from that. Now, this one is a little bit more aggressive. I don't really buy into this, to be honest. I just want to show you all the possibilities. This moves everything a lot further to the north, and this would actually have a bigger impact on parts of the ArkLaTex, but I don't think this is probably going to play out this way. I think it's going to be a little farther to the south. So, but you can still see places like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, maybe even up towards Alexandria on this model run. There's New Orleans, as I mentioned, 6 inches of snow. Houston, a lot of snow there. So that'll be pretty impressive if that verifies. Okay, now I see a lot of questions on here. Arkansas is not going to get anything, Lori. Union Parish, probably not much for you. AccuWeather showing 1 to 3 inches for North Louisiana. I would not buy into that at all. There's so many different things out there showing conflicting messaging, but based on what I've seen so far today, I would not buy into those forecasts that you're seeing for accumulating snow along I-20. I just don't think it's going to happen. Bienville, probably not going to see much. You might see some flurries. Natchitoches, Ariel, if you're still on here, you probably will see about 1 to 2 inches as it looks now. Travel to Mobile, Alabama. I would not recommend that at all. Yeah, that is going to be a really, really tough go. I don't even know if you'll be able to make it down there, honestly. Barksdale Bubble, yeah. Sabine Parish. You could still see about a 1 to 2 inch snowfall down there. Houghton, Cindy, not going to see much at all. Maybe a few flurries. Again, if you're watching, people asking about Natchitoches. The last time South Louisiana got snow like this, that's a good question. That was actually, so I was looking at some of the stats on this. So if we get what we're forecasting for places like New Orleans, the last time they had this was in 1895. It is crazy. This is going to be a historic storm. It's going to be something for sure. I mean, these folks down there, that's going to paralyze New Orleans for probably a day or two for sure. But it's going to be pretty interesting. So again, this is the Canadian model. Let's go into some of our high resolution models now. So these short-term models have now come in, which actually really increases the confidence, because once you get within the 24-hour time frame, you start getting these better forecast models that do a much better job. So let's take a look at what the HRRR, this is just a high resolution model, is showing. And actually that doesn't really go out far enough, so we can't quite use that one just yet, but we can use the North American model. And let's see what that one is showing as far as snowfall. And as you can see, same thing. There's the really high confidence in this. This would, bring a couple inches down towards Natchitoches, Manny, maybe out towards Nacogdoches. But as you can see, pretty much every single forecast model is in really good agreement that there's going to be some really heavy snow down in southern Louisiana. So I would say the heaviest snow is probably going to be from Houston over towards um, Southwest Louisiana, Lafayette, really along the I-10 corridor. I-10 is where the heaviest snow is going to be. That will extend towards Baton Rouge. And also New Orleans, as I mentioned, going to get some heavy snow out of that as well. But for those that were hoping for it here, Shreveport and Bossier, not going to happen, I don't think, unfortunately. But it is cold, so we got that part of it. Certainly going to be very cold, but not much snow expected. So that's kind of how it's going to play out. Let's see here. See if I can answer some more questions for you guys. Ruston. Ruston, you're probably going to be north of the heavy snow. So I'm not thinking much for you. Maybe some flurries. Is it possible that Mass Point, Mississippi gets a little? I don't even know where that is, Terry. I'm sorry. I have no idea where that is. So 1 to 2 inches for Manny. Yeah, I'm thinking even maybe less. It could be Manny could be close. You could get an inch or two maybe, but I'm thinking most of this goes south. Ice, I'm not thinking any ice. This is all, if we get anything at all, it's just going to be snow. It's going to be too cold for any sort of, it'll be all snow. Coshada, not going to see much. Again, maybe a dusting. Yeah, it could change overnight. That is true, Tanner, although the forecast models really are in very good agreement now. Every single one's showing the same thing. So that, it could change overnight. I'll be honest, I would be shocked if we wake up tomorrow morning and this has moved north. I think I am pretty confident this is going to miss us to the south. So, Ethan, are you talking about Opelousas? And, so yeah, again, kind of summarizing things. I'm going to wrap this up here in just a moment, but latest forecast models trending south, all south. And that's the big message today, is that this is looking like a less impactful event for the ArkLaTex. I'm going to put out a new snowfall map here in just a little bit. I'm working on that now, but I've actually lowered our snowfall totals even more. Now, having said that, I don't want you to get caught off guard by this, because there might still be some flurries around Monday night and Tuesday morning. And if you wake up Tuesday morning and you see a little dusting of snow in Shreveport and Bossier, don't be surprised by that. There could be a little coating. It wouldn't even really be enough to measure. It would just be a dusting of snow, but it could cause some slippery spots on the roads. So I would still use caution on that Tuesday morning commute. That's the commute you got to watch out for. And even as far north as Shreveport and Bossier, that Tuesday morning commute could be a little slick if we get even just a little light dusting of snow. So we'll keep an eye on that. Texarkana, Elaine, not going to get a thing. Not a thing. You're going to get missed by this. Natchitoches, as I mentioned before, about 1 to 2 inches. It's not going to be much, but it will be enough to cause some impacts. And yeah, so hopefully that helps kind of explain things for you. But if anything does change, between today and tomorrow, if it starts to look like it's going to move back north, or it looks like, something big is changing, I'll get on here and do another one of these Facebook Lives. But as of now, I wouldn't worry too much about this, but just keep in mind that your Tuesday morning commute could be a little slippery in some spots, but no major snow expected. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. You have a great rest of your weekend.